All right, here we go. I hope you guys can see this list right here. I am sharing this properly. Yes, my whiteboard is out. Okay. So obviously here are actually I'm missing one. And so I'm going to also just put these right here, these five in an order of difficulty as far as which ones are going to be most difficult for you as a beginner to actually start doing business with. The good thing is, if you start with real estate agents, all of this other stuff is inevitable. It's going to happen, right? So this isn't about, okay, who's going to be the most profitable for me, real estate investors? Let me only shoot for them. They're going to be the hardest for you to get in contact to because they don't want to be in contact with just anybody. They want to be in contact with a very select few amount of people, and they want to do business with those people for the rest of their real estate career of investing, That being said, these are my top five I recommend. And all of these other ones, we're going to run through them right now, are ones you should definitely keep open as far as your lane. Keep them open. When you have the opportunity to talk to these people, start up a conversation, send them a message, definitely do so. Do not neglect. If you're driving by a venue or one of these, anything on this list, you're just on the road, just stop by. Just stop by. The amount of times I've actually seen like a construction on site happening, like they're doing construction on a house, I'll go stop by and I'll be like, hey, can I get the contractor's phone number, or can I get the real estate agent or the investor's phone number? I'll just ask one of the guys who are out there and they'll give me a phone number and I'll be able to work up from there, right? So in the same way, you can apply that principle to all of these as well. Okay, so property management companies, sometimes investors don't want to, like, they own too many properties, right? They are buying some, they're selling some, they're working on some at the same time. Some of them they already bought, fixed, and now they have tenants living in there. So a lot of times they'll actually get property management companies to help them manage all those properties, right? And sometimes they'll even ask the property management company, like, hey, can you just get someone to do a 3D virtual tour? I need this done. Or for every other property, like when a tenant moves out, I want a 3D virtual tour done so I can assess damages and see any repairs that need to be done before we put in a new tenant, or if we're going to sell it, whatever it is. Property management companies are in touch with a lot of investors and real estate agents as well. Commercial real estate brokers, also commercial real estate agents, I would say. These are going to be the guys. So commercial means buildings, non-resident. So not anything you and me can necessarily go and live in, unless if it's like a commercial apartment building. But these could be office spaces, just, regular buildings, that people don't necessarily live in. Those are going to be big money for you, regardless. That because commercial properties you could definitely charge more for, because that building is set to make them profit. They're only working with that building to generate a shit ton more money. That's what commercial means. So that means that technically means you get to charge more money. Not to mention the fact that the square footage and everything is going to be way bigger, so you should be charging more money. Vacation rental owners. This also includes Airbnbs. I don't know how I forgot that. Airbnbs. Okay, so these are ones you could target as well. I don't think I need to explain to you why Airbnb is a really good place for you to target. Hotels and resorts, same thing. They want to show their lobby, maybe they want to show their pool area, their game room, their office spaces, and one or two, maybe the master suite, regular suite, single bed, double bed. If they can have a 3D virtual tour of all these spaces, you're all set to go, right? They're all set to go. They could upload those on their website, and that they know what that does for them, right? Not to mention the fact that if you can actually get one of those done, the amazing thing about any of these is if you get just one of those done, get one referral, get one review, video testimonial from the person you serviced this for, you can go ahead and double down and get more. So let's say you finally, let's say a Holiday Inn. Let's say you have a connection with a Holiday Inn, right? And you go ahead and you service them. The amount of Holiday Inns that you can just simply go to and let them know that you could do the same exact thing for them. Forget Holiday Inn at that point. The amount of motels, the amount of other hotels that you can go to and service, simply because you have that case study already done and you have a video testimonial already done, and you can show them your work, and they'll be like, okay, this person isn't just a 3D virtual tour person for just anybody. They're a 3D virtual tour person who has experience doing it for hotels. People want custom. People want to feel special. They want to feel like you're there just for them, to service just them in their industry, and you're not like a one size fits all. You're not a jack of all trades type of person. That's who these more commercial clients really respect. Event venues, wedding venues are awesome. We already know bridezillas want to know the ins and outs of places. Sometimes they go ahead and they're like, okay, we're gonna go to a completely different state to do this wedding, to do this event. Different businesses need to occupy venues to do seminars, workshops, things of that nature. They want to know how big it is, what the layout is. They want to plan around it. 3D virtual tour is the best thing that they can get. Otherwise, back in the day, they would just be doing FaceTime calls. You got to understand the amount of one of my biggest selling points was the fact to agents when this whole Matterport thing started was you don't need to do FaceTime calls anymore and do these tours, be at the property, set up multiple calls, walk around the house multiple times, say the same thing multiple times, just send everyone the link. They could tour it themselves. And then by that point, you understand who's a serious buyer and who's not. I'm giving you guys a lot of little tidbits of information that are supposed to be in other modules, but I'm just going to give them to you as they come because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, conference centers, same thing as venues. Co-working spaces, this is where like people like me, entrepreneurs who just, work off of their laptop and, we don't want to be home anymore. So we just want to go work in what seems and feels like an office space because I'm here by myself, it gets lonely. I don't have a coworker I could talk to over here, over there. I don't have any much socialization that I could do unless if I go out of my way to meet up with friends, meet up with my family, whatever it may be, So co-working spaces, that's why co-working spaces make sense. Not to mention that a lot of people are working remotely nowadays and, they might not have the right home environment life to actually, do Zoom meetings and work from home. So they go to co-working spaces. They're becoming much more popular as time moves on. And they need 3D virtual tours. Office space leasing companies, kind of the same thing. I would actually take that one out. I don't really know about that one. I'm not going to recommend or talk about anything I don't know or haven't done already. Content creation spaces, these have been going very viral, very popular because different people want to do different podcasts in a professional looking setting, but they don't have the money to create that set, or they don't want to manage the set, or they don't want to make sure they have cameras, a couch, lighting, mics, all that stuff. So these content creation spaces literally have all of that built out for you, multiple different sets in like a huge warehouse where multiple different content creators can go. I'm sure you've seen it online. I'm sure you've seen like those fake jet lifestyle images where someone's sitting there with like a cappuccino looking outside of their private jet, when that's actually just a tube that looks like a jet inside a content creation space. Regardless, my point is these spaces need to be able to show what is in their space, what's around their space. Touring it is the best thing. And on top of that, for content creators, we really want to know what we're getting into when we go into that sort of stuff, especially the fact that not all towns have a content creation space. So you're probably driving like 2 to 3 towns, 4 towns down. So really being able to get a better idea of what it actually is more than just images, content creators definitely need that. Film and photography studios, I would take this one out. I don't think it's like I haven't done any. I've been offered to do some, but especially with nowadays with short form video content, a lot of people not even hiring full-on video production companies, more so just learning how they can create content with a phone. Even the bigger brands are doing this. So I mean, I don't think that's a good place for you guys to actually go and invest your time into and actually build case studies and rapport in that industry for, brick and mortar retail stores. So this is anything, right? This is like mainly your mom and pop shops, I would say. Typically nowadays though, the only ones that will be interested in doing this are ones that are actually doing well with their business. A lot of mom and pop shops are not doing very well anymore. That's just industry news. They actually make a lot more money if they actually make a lot more money nowadays if they just move to just being 100% online. They actually make a lot more money if they just move to just being 100% online. Okay, let me actually speed this up. I'm keeping you guys here for way too long. Okay, bars, nightclubs, art galleries. Art galleries are actually really popular, but that's going to be a very competitive one because they most likely already have a lot of people who are lined up to do this for them. But if you can get an art gallery under your portfolio, more the merrier. Going back to the portfolio thing again, don't tell anyone, but I for one of my first portfolios to just show that I know what I was doing with 3D virtual tours, I took just literally a link from Matterport because Matterport has a bunch of these spaces that they sponsor that they already recorded to show you and me an example of what a finished product can look like. And I just took the link for that. And I was just like, here's my work. This is what I did. But yeah, there's a lot of art galleries that definitely need that sort of thing too. And art spaces, like gallery spaces, because, one day it could be an art gallery, one day it could be something else. Museums, I would take this one out. Let's take that one out. Okay, fitness centers and gyms, definitely 100%. Spas and wellness centers for sure. Educational institutes, I would say a less of that. Let's take that out. Sorry, I was just like brainstorming. I just kind of just threw everything here, but now that I'm going through it, I'm like, some of these I wouldn't even target again. Senior living communities, yes, people want to know where they're dropping off their old people to, and they want to tour the place before they actually go take the time to visit it, bring their senior citizen person to go and, check out the place. Like, you'd rather just be able to tour the whole thing on your laptop if you could tour multiple and then decide to actually go in person from there. So these are all people who really value these things. And what you want to do when you're talking to these people is really communicate what their customers want from them and why your 3D virtual tour makes it easier for the customer and for one of these businesses that you're servicing. Everyone wins. Everyone wins. Manufacturing and industrial spaces, I wouldn't target this one necessarily. There's not much for them to really show off unless if it's related to some sort of an investor who might be buying one of these spaces or, warehouses or something like that. Even if you see like houses for sale, guys, get the phone number. Get the phone number of the real estate agent. Be like, hey, I saw this house for sale. I create 3D virtual tours, blah, 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 blah. Don't miss a single opportunity. I was taking pictures of every single billboard. If I saw a real estate agent had a billboard up, I'm like, okay, they have $150 to $300 to pay me, 100% guaranteed. No questions asked. If there's a house up for sale and it's beautiful and I go ahead and I look up the listing on Zillow and I see that it doesn't have a 3D virtual tour, that's me. That's me right there. The phone number's right there. I'm taking a picture of it and it's in my local area. Why the hell not? Let them know that you're local to them too, that you're available at any time, any day. They just need to schedule a time with you, but you can get this stuff done quick and easy for them. Showrooms, let's take that one out. Or we're going to take this one out too. Simplify this as much as possible. Luxury homes and high-end properties, man, this is like where you also want to end up. This is another place you want to end up. You are going to be dealing with some more high-end, wealthier individuals, which does come with a different need to like service, talk to them, deal with them in a different way. To be honest, sometimes they can be a royal pain in the ass. I've worked with them. I've worked with high-end lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, and it's not always fun. To be honest, I'd rather work with a bunch of contractors or a bunch of real estate investors or just a few real estate investors, a couple wholesalers, real estate agents here and there. So honestly, you want to really get like a healthy combination of these, I would say, really. And then take these as they come, and whichever ones seem most promising, whichever ones you feel like you could charge the most amount of money for, obviously this is going to be one of those. On this entire list, these people, you can charge a lot of money for the 3D virtual tours. You can really up the price. And I wouldn't even say limit it to the price sheet that I'm going to give you. If you feel like this person has paid down, and if you actually get that information, like how much have you guys actually paid for 3D virtual tours in the past, get that number and don't go below that number. Unless if they said that the price was the issue and that's why they're not working with that other person anymore, then, take the price down a little bit. But now you have an understanding of what they can afford, what they can't afford, what they're willing to put down, what they're not willing to put down. But really, at the end of the day, you want to sell the end outcome, right? Okay, let's hurry this up. Apartment complexes and multifamily housing. These are amazing too. Home builders and developers, that's basically, contractors, same thing. Tourist attractions and historic sites. I think you could do this one. I have seen this work with drones before, with people who are looking to start drone companies. I actually did recommend you go ahead and you partner with some travel companies, travel planners, these sorts of things, because them being able to display all the features of the town that they're trying to sell on a 3D virtual tour is one of the best things that they can do. Right now, they're just relying on high quality images, barely even some video. So really, for a lot of these companies, if you see them only doing images right now, they should be doing video right now too. But if they're not, that means they want something a little bit more immersive, something that does the job a little bit more simply and more with more of an impact, which, an immersive video, an immersive interactive video, which is basically a 3D virtual tour, is as good as it gets for them, you know? So yeah, guys, these are the industries that I recommend. These are the industries and professionals I recommend you guys target. Do your own research, see who you can find on what platforms. Literally look into all of these, see who you have access to. Do you have anyone in your contact information? Do you have anyone, an uncle? Do you have anyone that goes to your religious center, your mosque, your church, anything like that? You know, does your mom know anyone? I can't tell you the amount of real estate agents I didn't even know my mom knew. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I can't even tell you the amount of real estate agents my mom knew from our mosque. She gave me like 5 different real estate agents. One of them turned out to also be an investor. And then he was working side by side with a couple wholesalers. So I did a couple properties for him as a real estate agent. And then I also did his property that he was flipping himself. And then he was also partnering on a deal with these real estate wholesalers that I also went and serviced. And then the real estate wholesalers were like, oh, this kid's so cool. Like, you know, we have this little office space, whatever. You're a new entrepreneur. If you ever want to come work here, bring your work here, feel free. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I have like a place I can go and call like an office space. I can go do some work. And they gave me the key to their office, everything. It was freaking awesome. And then from there, they started hiring me for jobs. So, and that's literally how it went. I don't want to like, you know, overcomplicate this for you. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated, but these are the ones you want to be targeting. See what's popular in your area, see what's easily accessible to you, and then move on from there. I'm sorry this module went on for a little bit too long, but I wanted to break down everything to you very thoroughly. In the next module, we will be covering how you are going to go ahead and build out your portfolio. Stay tuned for that next week.